Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are staying down on the mat and working total body with this Pilates workout that, like I said, is going to work a little bit of everything. So lots of toning, lots of muscle control, lots of core control. And for a little bit of a bonus, we're going to grab a booty band and use it for some postural work. So if you have that, roll out your mat and let's go. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are staying close to the floor, or actually, in fact, on the floor because it is a mat Pilates workout. We're going to work lots of different muscle groups with this, and actually something a bit different. We're going to have a nice postural kind of finisher using a booty band. So I'm going to show you how you can use this to work upper body as well. Before we get cracking on that, couple notes here. Obviously it'll say in the title, and it should be pretty obvious from seeing me do this. I'm about 8 months pregnant as I'm filming this, so all of my workouts coming up, and probably there aren't going to be that many more weeks of workouts coming up, but all of the ones coming up will of course be pregnancy friendly and probably postpartum friendly as well. Of course it'll be marked in the title, in the description of the video. So if you would like to come back for more pregnancy friendly workouts, you can also totally do them. They're definitely challenging, even if you're not pregnant. Hit that subscribe button. I will also have linked down below my Instagram, which is just at F2D Fitness, and you can find more content over there. So workout content, lots of nutrition content, lifestyle, and overall just lots of things related to women's hormone health, fertility, conception, all of that good stuff. So that's it for business. We're going to start in on this, and we're going to start just by warming up the core a bit. So go ahead, come here to hands and knees. Nice simple one. We're just going to start with a cat-cow. So good one if you're just waking up a little bit. So from hands and knees here, you're just going to exhale, round, really tuck tailbone in, push up out of the shoulders. And on that inhale, we scoop open through the chest. Here we go. So exhale, really round, pulling navel to spine, tucking tailbone forward. Inhale, hollow the chest, really thinking of opening through the chest, fronts, the shoulders, still keeping the abs supported. So in that cow position, still thinking keeping supported. You don't want to just dump through the lower back. My apologies if you can hear Luna sneezing in the background. I feel like I've been saying that for years in these videos. We have a very sneezy cat. She does a lot of sneezing. So she's doing that right now. And these ones feel so good. Pregnant or not, honestly, you can't really beat a good cat-cow. Really good one for postpartum as well. All right, come just to a flat back here. You're going to extend opposite arm and leg, and we're just going to lift. So bird dog, lift, lower down, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Just lifting here in line with the torso, still pulling navel up and in, so still staying supported there. So we're not dumping through the lower back, and really focusing on the length of that reach. So keep knee nice and straight here. You can point the toes, find a little pause at the top, focus on squeezing that glute. So yeah, don't just like throw it up quickly, dump through the lower back, and then let it splat back down. Should be nice and controlled. And you should be really feeling the core activating on these. Little bit more here. And then for a little bit more of a challenge, you're gonna stay lifted here. We're gonna tuck knee to elbow, round the back, and then extend, keeping floating there the whole time. So tuck in, rounding the back, extend. So I always tell people when they're doing these, the back is either going to be a plane or a hill, but it's never going to be a valley. So as you're reaching long, there's your plane. As you tuck in, really lift and round, pull navel in. I got a fair bit to pull in right now. I can definitely feel the challenge of that at this moment in my life. So yeah, just do your best there. Of course, if you are pregnant, it is gonna be a little bit more of a challenge tucking that knee. So yeah, just do your best. Pulling baby up and in as much as you can. Let's do one more here. And then your arm that was just reaching, you're gonna take down to the floor. You're gonna pivot on that supporting leg. Top hand come to hip, and we're just gonna lift and lower. So navel in, we're now in that kind of side kneeling position, still pushing up out of this supporting shoulder, still thinking navel to spine, leg nice and long. And again, it's probably gonna be another workout of me just sounding quite out of breath. It's just the stage. It's just the stage that I'm at right now. Squeezing that bottom glute here as well. So we're just kind of working our way around the different angles. But all just really nice Pilates exercises for core activation. Little bit more here, and then we're gonna have a surprise challenge on this one too. So next one, you're gonna keep that leg up, extend your top arm overhead. We squeeze knee to elbow, extend long. Squeeze knee to elbow. So knee is opening a little bit over the line of the hip. Slight turn out there, getting a bit of an oblique crunch. And finding a little bit of a pause on either end. So again, we don't want to just be kind of like doing a quick momentum-based squeezed in and then kicking it out long. It should be nice and controlled. Show that position on either side. So imagine that somebody's coming and taking a photo of you doing this. If that were the case, you would really want to show this bit squeezed in, this bit extended. So find a little pause in each one of those. Bottom glute is feeling it. All right, last one there. Go ahead and release. Okay, I'm gonna flip around, face the other side, and we're gonna do the other side now, of course. So, opposite arm and leg, the ones that you didn't do that first round, we take that bird dog lift in 3, 2, 1. So extending long, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. And this is the glute lifting now that was just supporting, so I can definitely feel it already. But still, every time I lift, I'm finding that little squeeze. So I'm finding that control. Woo. And I'm feeling very close to this radiator right now, which I think is on, yes. Yeah, it is putting off heat. Again, a little pause at the top. As you lower arm and leg, not letting the core release. So I'm in a forever state here of pulling up and in. Whether the leg and arm are lifted or lowered. Stay up on the next one. We tuck it in, little pause, extend. And again, that little pause is just ensuring that everything's activated. Muscles are doing what they need to do. And they could hold there if they had to. If it's too quick, you're going to cheat yourself. That muscle activation might get a little bit, but not the same. We don't want to just be throwing limbs around. Really scooping navel in and up. Getting ready after this, we're gonna pivot onto the side. Last one here. And that arm that was reaching, that hand comes down. You're gonna pivot on that leg, still the same supporting leg. We lift and lower the same leg that was lifting. So fully open to the side now, hips stacked. These actually feel kind of nice. after those last ones. I always think when you, at least initially, right, when you change the angle, it feels kind of nice and relieving. It doesn't last, but for now, I think this feels kind of nice. And now that bottom glute is working overtime, really staying engaged, really staying squeezed under so you don't start rotating like this and collapsing here. So kneecap should be facing forward here, not down to the floor. Just check on that. So pushing bottom hip under, pulling this top hip back. All right, let's do one more here. Leg stays up, top arm goes overhead. We squeeze knee to elbow, woo-hoo-hoo. Extend. Squeeze in, extend. That little pause, squeezing in, I really, really feel, again, in the glutes. Lots of core stability here as well. Such a good one. I already feel like we've worked a lot of muscle groups here, but we're gonna keep that going this whole time. So you're really gonna get everything. It is really a total body Pilates workout. For when you can't decide, some days I'm very much just like, it's a glute day. Actually, I don't have that many of those days. I do a lot of just glute days, but I don't have that many days where I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to just do glutes today. Last one here. Come back to hands and knees. We're gonna tuck toes under, float the knees about 1 inch or 2 centimeters off the floor. Press back to downward dog, heels sinking down. You can pause there for a second. Navel pulling in, and we're gonna go back to that little hover. So little hover, widen across the shoulders, lengthen through the neck, and then back to downward dog. So just at your own pace here, you can follow the breathing. Inhale forward, exhale, back to downward dog. Nice little stretch for the back body. And again, make sure you're still keeping core engaged there. So as you shift forward, still hugging navel in and up. I feel like it's just been the last 2 weeks that I've been really out of breath filming. Last downward dog here. And then go ahead, drop the knees. You can just press back into a child's pose. Huzzah. Give it a little wiggle out. Walk hands in. Okay. Core is nice and warm now, but we're not done with it. So you're gonna come back to that first side. So the first side where we did that kind of side kneeling position. Come back to that side. Lower down here. We're gonna set up for a side plank, but you can keep the bottom knee down. So we're on the elbow, we're on the knee, pushing up out of the shoulder. So let me show you the difference. We don't wanna be here. This is sad, ears close to shoulder. That's gonna really put a lot of strain on the shoulder. Activate through the core, press up out of that shoulder. That's our position. So think of your resting position as the side plank itself. At the top, we're gonna do a knee to elbow. Again, dip, lift. That's the move here. So we're gonna do everything still for a full minute. All right, find your side plank. We start in 3, 2, 1. So dip, lift, knee, dip, lift, knee. Nice deep breaths here. Navel to spine, super controlled. And you'll notice I am fully touching hip to floor. You should be fully making contact, but not putting any weight into it. So it's just a tap. Energetically, we're headed right back up. And like I say, that shoulder is gonna help a lot with that. So if you're collapsing in the shoulder every time, it is actually going to make your life so much harder. So don't do that. Stay out of that shoulder. Let's make life easier. Still definitely a challenge because we're maintaining that side plank, which is no easy feat. Do one more here. And release. Okay, Go ahead from there, come on to elbows and knees. Your leg that was just lifting, you're going to bend. You're gonna squeeze the heel in toward the butt, flex the foot, and we're gonna do a lift, and lower. So extra little squeeze at the top, extra little pulse in 3, 2, 1. We squeeze, and tuck it back down. Gaze can just be about at the level of the hands here. I'm still thinking of scooping navel in and up. And with my right hip, I'm really thinking of pushing right hip into the centered. So I'm not just collapsing over to the right side. I'm not even really swaying over to the right side. You want to be equally long through both sides of the torso and really focus on squeezing that glute at the top. Of course, you could do this with an ankle weight or even a light weight just held behind the knee if you did want to add a little something to it. Feel free. Same within that side plank. I'm thinking about staying pressed at shoulders. All right, last one here. You're gonna lift again and we're just gonna pulse it. So just little tiny pulses. Keep these slow. If these are really quick, if they're really big, probably it's something like this. I see people do this where there's like not a lot of control, not really working the muscles very much. They think maybe like quick and big is better. With pulses, I would argue smaller and slower is better because you're really gonna find and hold that squeeze, hold the engagement every single time. So ideally with this one, you want to be feeling the active side more than the supporting side. That's a little self-check here, really good self-check. If you're feeling that lifting, pulsing side more, good. If you're feeling more the supporting side, then there's maybe a little bit of a discrepancy between like what you want to be doing and what's actually happening there. Last one here, go ahead and release because we really want to be able to activate those glutes. So it's a thing to work at, but the more you can connect the mind there, the better. All right, setting up for that side plank on the other side here. So elbow and bottom knee in 3, 2, 1. So we dip, we lift, we draw the knee in. Again, staying pressed up out of that shoulder. I'm feeling sweaty. But this is feeling like a good workout. It's feeling like a good workout. It's amazing how much of a burn you can get from a mat Pilates workout. I don't know, is that amazing? Kind of, because I feel like if you just watch somebody doing it, it really doesn't look like it's that much. But then when you do it, it can be quite intense, the level of muscle control. I often find these sorts of workouts actually more challenging than just like weights and lifting. Last one here, and release. Again, we're just gonna come here onto elbows and knees. So it's gonna be the opposite leg this time. Bend, lift, and pulse in 3, 2, 1. So squeeze, and down. And the more you think here also of tucking the tailbone, that's really going to help, because if you're releasing the tailbone here and releasing into the hips, that's when you're gonna get that little bit of a hollow in the lower back, and you're gonna be feeling more of the back and the hip than you are the glute. So stay tucked here, keep the abs engaged, and really focus all of your energy, all of your concentration on finding that squeeze in the glute. Glutes can be really, really sleepy. They can be really hard to activate, especially if you are sedentary for a lot of the day. So that can take time. And like, when I say time, I don't just mean like, the first 5 minutes of a workout. I mean, it can take people like years to fully properly activate their glutes. Next, when we stay up, we're just pulsing it. but that process will be faster if you really find that mind-body connection. So I'm really thinking of tucking under, especially on the left there. So left is giving me a good strong support, and I'm focusing all of my mental awareness on just squeezing that right glute and finding a little pause in it every time. Nice deep breaths here. Pulling shoulders back away from the ears. The second side is harder because everything has worked a little bit more up to this point. So even though it's my dominant side, it actually does feel a little bit harder. It just feels that much more fatigued. But we've got the endurance to carry on. Last few seconds here. And release. Okay. We're gonna come into a plank here on the elbows. So if it feels okay, if it feels safe for you to come to that full plank on the elbows and feet, go there. If that's not the case, so especially if you are pregnant or recently postpartum, it might feel a lot better and just safer here to stay on the knees. That's fine as well. Either way, you're gonna push back here, so butt is gonna pike up. If you're on the feet, this is me a dolphin, otherwise here, and then forward to that plank again. So from the toes, it'll look like that, straight legs, forward. We're going for a full minute here. You can switch it up. So I'm probably gonna do 30 and 30. That's my vision. Choose one though, starting in 3, 2, 1. Choose one to start with, let's say. And really, really good postural exercise. So again, if you're like sat in front of a computer for much of the day and really tight through the chest in front of the shoulders, whew, this one is just gonna open it all back up for you. All right, that's our halfway point. I'm just gonna drop to the knees, mostly because I've worn non-grippy socks and they're sliding a little bit on this mat, and that is making it a lot more difficult. That was my bad. That was my bad. Exhale back, inhale forward. Last one here. And go ahead, release. Okay. In case you thought we were done with side planks, we weren't. We're gonna come back again to that first side that we did a side plank on. So we're through kind of one chunk. This second big chunk is gonna sort of mimic that, and then we'll finish with the postural portion. Not that this isn't, this is also very much postural. So again, setting up modified side plank. We're gonna take top hand, fingertips just behind the nape of the neck. This time when you're at the top, you're gonna do a little mini twist here. Finding that twist mostly from the upper back rather than around the navel, because we don't wanna twist too much there if you're pregnant. And then you're gonna dip. So again, it's a dip, little mini twist, really taking it from the upper back. So postural work, starting in 3, 2, 1. So we dip, lift, little twist. I'm really thinking of extending through the back, keeping elbow wide, bring it back up, dip, lift, little twist, as if I'm trying to kind of reach the point of my elbow for something on the floor just a little bit away from me. So don't just like crunch it down. We want to think of lengthening rather than shortening. And it's a lot of work for that supporting shoulder to go through that little bit of a twist. But it can do it. It can do it. Navel into spine, keeping these nice and controlled. So again, I don't want you to go faster than my pace. I set a nice slow pace intentionally. And you might find that feels a little bit harder at that slower pace. If we were doing cardio, that would be one thing. Last one here, go ahead, release. Again, we're gonna come to elbows and knees. That leg that was just extended long there, the leg that was just on top, is going to be our active leg. This time, we're gonna do a straight leg. I don't mind if you wanna flex or point the foot, but choose one of those. We're gonna do a lift pulse, and then we're also just gonna pulse it. So first the lift pulse in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, flexed or pointed. I think I'm gonna stick with a flex. I don't know, I might change my mind. Let's see. So same rules here as far as hips being square to the floor, staying equally long through both sides of the torso. So pushing that supporting side kind of into center, not letting it just swing off to that side. And then this time we are thinking about keeping a really nice long leg. So working more of the hamstring. So no bend, no softness, no loosening in that knee. The motion is coming all the way from the top of the leg. And again, this one, well, you couldn't do a weight behind the knee, obviously, but if you did have an ankle weight, you could add an ankle weight here, but only if you're really able to maintain that range of motion. All right, next one, we're going to lift and just stay lifted and pulse it out. So I'm focusing, thinking like I have a little laser beam on my heel. Again, could be heel or toes, but for me, I'm thinking heel, and I'm reaching as far back through that little laser beam, extending it as long as I possibly can. Feeling that hamstring. I always find hamstrings a little bit more challenging than glutes. Maybe that's just me. Whew. But I do always find them a little bit more challenging. But I'm focusing all my energy there. I'm feeling it shake. And I'm just controlling that shaking as much as I can. Still thinking of tucking tailbone, scooping belly up and in, staying pressed up out shoulders. I know it's a lot to think about, but that is Pilates, isn't it? That is what makes it hard. And go ahead, release. I feel like you could do Pilates for years and years and years, and I have done it for years. And I still wouldn't say that I've mastered it. Like, there's always still more to build toward, more control to find. All right, second side here. So setting up for that side plank, fingertips behind the nape of the neck. We dip, we lift, we find a little twist. In 3, 2, and 1. So dip, lift, extending, thinking of pulling apart shoulder blades and upper back. So again, finding that twist there rather than around the middle. It's a different feeling. And possibly in another workout before on my channel, I will have done a twist from lower. I do those ones as well, just not at the moment, because especially if you are pregnant or postpartum, we don't want to do anything that's going to encourage more of an ab separation, which really big twists from around the middle can do. Do you know what? I actually don't really mind these ones so much. Kind of feels good for upper back because there's a little bit of like a stretch in there. Like I say, you're kind of trying to separate and lengthen. It feels kind of nice. All right, release. Come on to elbows and knees. Don't worry, it's our last round. It's our last round of these. So opposite leg is straight. We lift pulse in 3, 2, 1. All the same rules apply. And if you get really tired, if you start to lose course here, just focus back on the breathing. Let muscle memory kind of take over. Focus on the breathing. You can do it. So erase any thoughts from your head thinking, oh, I can't possibly go on. You absolutely can. Endurance, muscular endurance is just so much of a mental game, which is honestly what I enjoy most about it, because you realize you can kind of keep pushing through these moments of discomfort for as long as you really need to. You can. Your body is definitely capable of it. It's just getting your mind on board. All right, keep the next one lifted and we pulse it here, which also is really good preparation for labor. So just settle into the breathing. Again, check that that leg is nice and long, whether you are flexed or pointed, but like I say, choose one of those. Don't just be like floppy and somewhere in the middle. Choose one and commit to it. Find that motion all the way from the top of the leg. Torso shouldn't be bouncing around here. It's not full body. You're just moving that leg. So again, it's that control, which means we're actually really engaged on top. Oh man, I'm feeling it. I'm not gonna lie, my lower body is pretty tired at this point, but we're just about there. And go ahead, release. Okay, we're gonna do one last little thing, well, kind of two last things here in plank. So again, you can choose whether you wanna plank from the feet or the knees. Here's the difference. If you're planking on the feet, you're just gonna do a little pedal here. So alternating knee tap, but energy, the sort of rest position is up in the plank. Alternatively, if you wanna go from the knees here, the rest position is gonna be here. You'll just tuck toes under, extend back through one leg, bring it back down, extend back through the other leg, bring it back down. We're gonna do 30 seconds singles, and then we're gonna do 30 seconds doubles. So either tap, lift up, energy is upward, or energy is downward here with knees on the floor. You're just doing a quick push back, knees can come back down. Either of those options is okay. All right, first we alternate though in 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Let's see. Scooping navel in and up. You absolutely do not have to be doing what I am doing, especially if you are pregnant or postpartum. It really depends on kind of like what you're used to doing. If you are postpartum, I flat out would just do from the knees. Don't do here. If you're recently postpartum, if you have an ab split at the moment, do a couple more here. And then we're gonna go for those doubles. I'm gonna do the doubles from the knees. So pressing back, knees come down, little rest. But yeah, really depends on how used you are to planking. So if you plank all the time, if you're pregnant but you've been planking through pregnancy, feels good, it feels supported, or if you're even earlier in your pregnancy, that can obviously make a difference. One more here, press back to child's pose. It's really gonna be, your call. You're gonna know your own body better than anybody else. So that's just a fact. That is just a fact. So I think sometimes, especially in pregnancy, we can really get caught up in like other people's advice. And really, you're gonna know best. You know your body the best. You know it better than anyone. All right, getting to our little postural finisher here. With the booty band, it's not gonna be used for the booty. We're gonna come to hands and knees here. So you're gonna start, I would say, with your dominant hand supporting. So your non-dominant side is gonna be active. That hand, you're gonna be kind of like a little tripod here. So knees are under hips. Hand is gonna go pretty much just right in front of your face. You're grabbing the other side of the band here with your non-dominant hand, and we're gonna be doing a narrow row. So it's just gonna be like that, release. You're probably not gonna do a full release there, depending on how resistant your band is, okay? Full minute here though, starting in 3, 2, 1. So elbow comes narrow to the side. I'm just pulling back and release. Pulling back, release. Keeping hips and chest square to the floor. And ideally, you would do this with a light booty band. I don't have a light booty band because I don't know where it is. I lost it a long time ago. So I'm doing this with a medium, which is fine. Or if you had like a couple different resistances, you could do that as well for different parts of this series. Yeah, this medium's getting me. not gonna lie. Still feeling that core engagement here. I'm feeling the transverse abdominis. Really engaged. All right, last one here. Woo! And release, and let's just switch sides. So swapping hands. Get good grip in there. There we go. Elbow coming narrow. And the thing that I really like about using the bands for upper body is that you get that resistance in either direction. So it's not just like with a weight where you would of course get the resistance as you were rowing up on this one. You also get it going down because you're controlling that release. We're not letting it just snap back. You are the master of the band. It is not the master of you. So just bear that in mind. We'll do a couple more here. We'll go just over time a little bit because we have that transition. And release. Okay, come up just onto the knees here. You can be sitting on the feet or you could be fully kneeling. Again, we're gonna go back to that first side. So you're gonna put your dominant hand in one end, pin it to the non-dominant shoulder. You're gonna grab the other end here. Elbow is tight to the side. We're pressing back a little bit and you're gonna be extending. So it's a tricep kickback. All right, in 3, 2, 1. So a little bit different tricep kickback using the band. And again, we're not gonna let the band go fully slack there. So there might be less of a bend or less of a release than you're used to doing even when using a weight. Keeping back nice and long here, super, super controlled. Palm can just be facing in toward you. Oh, I feel a big bead of sweat just rolling down the side of my face. But I don't have a free hand, can't do anything about it. Is what it is. Ugh. I just so hate the feeling of sweat. Truly I do. But then I do really love the feeling of like taking a shower when you are all sweaty and then feeling like a new woman afterwards. Last one here, and then we're gonna swap over to the other side. So, same deal. Oh, that is a little bit easier. Not gonna lie, my dominant side. It's interesting. I find that like certain muscle groups, I definitely do notice like more of a difference between my dominant and non-dominant. For me, things like glutes, more or less the same. Inner thighs, more or less the same. Those are kind of areas that I would say like really I do work quite equally. Triceps, my right side, which is my dominant, I do notice is quite a bit stronger, which just shows me I'm using the triceps probably more throughout the day. So it's just more opportunity for the right to kind of be dominant, which tells me in my daily habits, need to use left arm a little bit more, but oh man, so inefficient. Let's do one more here. And release. And then carrying on with a bit of triceps, bit of postural work, you're gonna bring both hands just into the loop of that band behind your back, so you can just hook it around the wrist, up onto the knees here, roll shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades here, a little incline, and we're just gonna press back and pulse, okay? Starting in 3, 2, 1. So you guys should be off and running. There we go, getting back in position. Straight arms, 1, 2, and down. So you're pressing out against the band just a little bit here, keeping a nice flat back. So no rounding here, really thinking open through the chest and fronts of shoulders. Neck is long, in line with the spine as well. And as you're pressing back, don't let the shoulders come forward. There's always that temptation when working triceps for the shoulders to just come forward a bit, but it's not what we want. It is not what we want, not what we're after. really nice postural series here. So especially good if you are postpartum and you're breastfeeding. Good to open everything back up. Last one there. Go ahead, release. Okay, we're gonna come back into that quadruped position. So back to hands and knees. Very similar to what we did before, but this time it's gonna be a wide row. So elbow's gonna come a bit away from the side. So again, we'll start with the non-dominant side as the active. Instead of the elbow hugging the side, you're gonna bring it out away from the side and down, okay? Starting in 3, 2, 1. Pull it out away and down. Strong supporting arm here, thinking long line, tailbone through the crown of the head. Whew, it's a bit of work for that supporting arm too, because you're really having to push it into the floor to keep that band in position. Still working core. So abs are very much engaged. Oh, for this one I do wish I had a light band. The other ones were not too bad with the medium. But for these ones, I wish I had a light band. But use what you've got. All right, go ahead, switch sides. And I mean, you could do this with a weight as well. So if you do not have a booty band, not the end of the world, but they are, pretty cheap and easy to get. And just a nice thing to have because easy to store, they're easy to travel with, and they're surprisingly versatile, as hopefully you're seeing from this workout, because we use them a fair bit for lower body. It's called a booty band. We use them a fair bit for lower body. Not that often for upper body, but you can. You can really use it for all sorts of stuff. You can use them for abs as well. So yeah, they're not just a one-trick pony, Do one more here. Again, we'll just go a little bit over the time. Good. And then again, coming to seated here, you can sit back on the heels or up on the knees. You're gonna hold one half of that band overhead with your dominant hand. Non-dominant, we're gonna be doing a lat pull. So you're kind of squeezing the elbow behind and then pressing back up in 3, 2, 1. So we're supported here, squeeze down and press up. It's not going to be a full extension up, because if I go fully up, what's the point? That band is just going slack. And you'll notice, yes, it is a lot of work for that stabilizing shoulder as well. So my right shoulder here is like, wait, what? What's the plan here? We've got to hold that just up in a single spot while it's getting pulled on. Yeah, that's the idea. And it is a bit of a killer, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm really thinking of squeezing, pulling back with that left shoulder blade. I also can't there we go. That's a grip I like. Hooking the thumb, okay. Sometimes I can't find a grip that I like. You might have to experiment there. Do one more here. Good, that side's done. And then we'll switch. Yeah, that feels better, hooking the thumb, okay. Yeah, there's not necessarily one correct way to hold the band. It's gonna be whatever, feels the most stable for you. Sometimes I will sort of specify if I do think there's a way that's gonna help you, serve you the most. But in this case, you can kind of figure it out. Yeah, this side's a little bit easier actually as well. Okay, note to self, need to use left arm more during the course of the day. I don't even know, what am I doing so much with my right arm that I'm not doing with my left? I mean, just everyday tasks, like unpacking the dishwasher probably. I don't know, but I am obviously using the right a bit more. Do one more here. And then we're gonna hook the wrists again here. Actually, I'm gonna give you two options. You can either hook the wrists like that, or you can do just the thumbs, and hands are like little W's. We're gonna double. So you're gonna pull behind, pulse, pulse, and up, okay? When you're pulling down there, you really wanna press out. What we don't want is to be, first of all, like touching back here. It should be spaced away from you, and you should be actively pressing arms out so that wrists are stacked over the elbows. You're not just like here. That's not it. All right, arms up. We start in 3, 2, 1. So arms up, we're gonna pulse, pulse, pressing out with the arms. Such a good postural one. Pulse, pulse, shoulder blades squeezing together. Keep pressing arms out all the way back up. And depending on how tight you are, you might get a little bit of popping, cracking in the shoulders. I do in my right shoulder on this one a little bit, not every time. It's kind of gone away now. There we go, the first few. So yeah, sometimes it takes a bit just to let it release and open up. Still focusing, keeping a flat back here, so you don't want to just be like bowing the back like that. Opening up through the rib cage. Again, especially if you are pregnant or postpartum. One more here. Woof, and go ahead and release. Okay, you can drop your band off to the side here. We're gonna do one last little postural finale, but just using body weight. So come into a seated position here. Feet are just planted hip distance in front of you, knees bent, hands underneath the shoulders. You can do fingertips any position here. I personally recommend fingertips angled out to the side, because I find that it does just give the most stretch, the most opening across the chest. And what we're gonna be doing is lifting up, stretching through the chest. So if you're here, sunken into the shoulders, that's not it. Squeeze shoulder blades together. We'll tap back down. Full minute here in 3, 2, 1. So all of the postural work. This is one of my all-time favorite exercises. Tap, exhale, back up, hold, squeeze shoulder blades all the way back and together. You're working whole back body here as well. It's Luna again in the background. Oh, Luna. But yeah, looking for as much of an expansion across the fronts of shoulders and chest as you can possibly find. And that might be really, really tight there. So again, this is one that might take a bit of work to really get to release, and also building that strength to support it. But just keep coming back to these, especially if you are working a desk job. I do these a lot with my personal training clients. All right, we're gonna stay up on the next one. Option to either hold it here or walk the feet forward, hold in a reverse plank. A little bit more challenging. Still gotta stay pressed out of the shoulders. So don't go for the reverse plank and then collapse, okay? We're just here for 30 seconds. Keep squeezing shoulder blades together. Push your chest like you're trying to push it up to the ceiling. Last few seconds here, glutes of course are engaged. We hold 3, 2, 1. Woo, there we go. Release the butt, back down. Give the wrists a little shake out. There we go. Let's stretch out upper body first. So cross one arm in front of the chest. Oof, I feel that. Yep, I feel that. Okay. Getting the shoulder there. Yikes. Hello. And then take that hand between the shoulder blades. Give it a press down. If you want, you can take this top hand from below, See if you can link fingertips or grab onto your shirt or grab onto a yoga strap or a towel. Anything will do. Go ahead and release. Other side here, crossing arm in front. Oh, that feels good. That feels really good. Yesterday was an upper body day for me also, so my upper body and upper back are feeling pretty juicy right now. In kind of a nice way, actually. Like not painful, take it behind, but definitely feel like they've worked. It's good, that's what you want. And again, you can reach that hand from below. Oh, this side is tighter. Let's see. But again, you don't have to link fingertips there. You could use something for a little bit of assistance. And go ahead, release. Let's just touch one hand down to the side. Opposite arm reaches up and over. So expanding, breathing into that side body. Pressing this top shoulder back, opening chest slightly to the ceiling. Come back through center. Opposite side, big reach, creating space again here. Press it slightly open. And back down. Press both arms back. And then let's give lower body a little bit of a stretch here as well. So you're just gonna extend one leg long in front of you, square the hips over that leg. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, find a little tilt from the hips. You don't have to reach toward the toes. You don't have to reach for anything in particular here. So especially if belly is in the way, but just keep a flat back, keep that tilt. And we're gonna do the same thing, but rotate open. So leg is straight, sweep opposite arm up and over. You might have heard my hip just pop there. Sometimes this position will do that for me, and I really enjoy it because it feels really good when it releases. Bring it back up, we'll switch legs. So squaring hips, inhale, arms up, exhale, finding a little tilt. So I'm really focusing here on extending long, tailbone through the tops of the shoulders, through the crown of the head. I'm not worried about just like flopping over that leg. Guys, I'm really sorry, no cat appearances today. You can hear Luna probably a little bit in the background. Open to the side here, but no cat appearances. Reach up and over. It's been raining all week in Madrid, so they're very just like hibernation central mode. And they're all pretty sad because they haven't been able to go outside. Bring it back up. Finally, just take soles of feet together here. Knees open. Have a little rock side to side there. You could also take a child's pose here. Oh my God, let's do it. Let's do it. That sounds too good to pass up. So come onto the knees. I know I just said last one. It wasn't the last one. Let's do knees wide. Walking hands forward, melting chest down. You can rest the forehead on your mat. Really thinking of pressing armpits down toward the floor so you're getting that big stretch again through chest. You could even just kind of rock a little bit side to side, kind of pressing more into one side and then the other. And then slowly walk hands back in toward the knees here. Press the chest up, sit up nice and tall, because we should be feeling nice and tall after doing all of that postural work. With the band, we are done. So if you guys enjoyed this, a little bit of something different using the band for some upper body, let me know that you'd like to see more by hitting that like button down below. Like I said, I'll be here for at least a few more weeks. I don't know how many more, but at least a few more. So if you want to see more pregnancy-friendly workouts, and workouts, like I say, that you can do anytime, hit that subscribe button and let me know down below in the comments whether you are doing this workout pregnant, postpartum, or just anytime, and what you thought about it. But I will see you guys back here soon. Bye!